Throughout my lifetime, I've collected a huge variety of sketchbooks, from the cringiest to the best. We're going to be going through each and every one. None of these are in any particular order, so let's start with this one. This was a sketchbook that I completed in 2017. It doesn't have a date on it, but most of the sketches are from that era. So starting on the first page here, we have some tiger doodles made with Copic marker. Also to mention, this is the Crescent sketchbook. I don't exactly remember the full name of it, but it actually holds Copic marker really well and it doesn't bleed, so that's really nice. This sketchbook, I did so many Copic marker drawings. They're a little random. We have a bear eating cookies, a kangaroo. We have some little creatures like the snake and turtle here. I definitely was one of those girlies who was obsessive over Copic markers. I just thought they were amazing. A lot of what fueled that passion at this time for my Copic markers definitely had to do with YouTuber artists. So artists like Draw with Jazza or Bailey J. I was just watching them all the time, and I thought that Copic markers were the best thing ever. So yeah, we have still lots of animal drawings. I think this was also a time when I was really experimenting with animal characters and just kind of going ham with any and every idea I had. Now, as we can see with this little panda drawing, I did graduate in 2017, and I was so happy to be done with school that I made a couple of drawings of class of 2017 kind of thing. I also really got into these fun, big cat drawings. So a lot of lions, tigers, that kind of thing. Yeah, here, one of my favorites with this tiger. I absolutely love the colors. We also have this weird furry dog thing that looks hideous. I hate it. This little creature here is actually called a civet, and it was under some kind of challenge. I don't exactly remember. Something that I find I do a lot in this sketchbook is I will actually jump from style to style. So as you can see with these couple of pages, I do more of a semi-realistic stylized style. And then I will end up jumping immediately over to extremely simple pieces of work. I really think that at that time I was really trying to figure out my overall style. So I was jumping back and forth to just kind of doing whatever I wanted, whether that be simple or more complicated. These next few drawings were actually from some kind of challenge where it gave you prompts. I'm not sure if it was Inktober or anything like that, but I don't exactly remember the prompts at all, but they were super fun to do and really got me out of my comfort zone at the time. Turning the page here, I remember doing this draft drawing and really hating it for some reason. I didn't think I liked the simplicity of it. There were a couple times in this sketchbook I also did only black and white drawings, trying to kind of do a comic style. I thought that was quite interesting. Everybody watch out, there's a surprise coming. It's Pancake. She got in the middle of my shot because she really wanted to say hello. Of course, messing up my entire shot. Getting back on track here, we have some more fun challenge drawings. I remember really disliking that Liger drawing. There's a lot of drawings like that in this sketchbook where I just ended up really disliking them. Around this time, I actually started making products out of some of my artwork. So some of these fun little drawings here, I actually ended up putting on pins and stickers and a variety of different things. I just overall thought it was really fun and interesting to begin getting into making products and selling them at vendor shows and also on Etsy. And here's Pancake again. Continuing on here, Miss Pancake loves interrupting things. She is the center of attention. I really like this little bat character still. I still think it's really cute. Then we turn to this page where we have a bloody wolf and a wizard squirrel thing. I remember disliking that wolf, but really liking this kind of bird pirate drawing. I don't remember what the original prompt was for it, but I love the way that it looks like a comic coming out of a comic panel, as well as this dragon. Using a square box to put my drawings in, I think is a really interesting concept, and I'm pretty sure this was the only sketchbook I ever did that with, was to draw out boxes for my artwork. I don't exactly remember why I did it, but I think it was really interesting. We're coming to the end here, and we have some purple chicken drawings. We're actually going to see those in some other sketchbooks. And then I actually turned our cat into a little character, which is super fun and cute. And we're all done with this first sketchbook. Let's move on to the next one. A favorite sketchbook of mine, this one definitely contains so many different ideas and definitely has a fun cover with all kinds of different stickers as well as the back. I'm going to totally butcher this, but this is the Cachet sketchbook by De La Rooney, and I started this in 2019 and finished it in 2020. Don't worry, I will zoom out here in a little bit, but I did a ton of these really fun compilation pages of just pigeons and cats and all kinds of things like that with colored lead. I thought it was such a fun and interesting idea to basically fill an entire page with just one thing and basically do tons of studies. Turning the page here, we can actually see a logo I used to have. I used to have this little witch cat logo, and here is just a ton of ideas of it. Super, super fun. This was also a time I got more into brush pen. I thought it was really fun. Also, try to read that Japanese there. I don't remember what I wrote. This is definitely quite the idea sketchbook. Tons and tons and tons of concepts. If we turn the page here, we can actually find my first concept for a graphic novel I was going to write called The Ocean's Maw. I was super inspired by Made in Abyss and ended up making my own kind of story based on it. And I just started to begin delving really deep into my character ideas, what the story would be, the environment, that kind of thing, and tons of creature designs. A lot of random ideas ended up getting thrown in the middle of me trying to come up with all kinds of story ideas. This is probably one of the most unique things I have ever done in any sketchbook, and that is doing tons and tons and tons of character concepts, clothes concepts, just trying to come up with every single concept under the sun so I would make sure I got it right, and I had so many different options. I absolutely love this sketchbook for this reason, because I don't do this anymore. I don't sit and come up with concepts like this. I mean, my God, I went ahead and drew out every single one of those swords just so I could really solidify which sword I liked the best. Even going as far as doing character expressions, going about doing all kinds of mouths and how they would move. I even tried to do T-posing with the main character, who I called Kit at the time. I came up with some backpack ideas as well, and then if we turn the page here, I was gonna have Kit have a little companion called Tig, super cute little creature that I think was pretty much inspired by Tato from Nausicaa. There was gonna be tons of creature designs in this story as well. And in the next couple of pages, I think, I try to come up with building ideas and interiors, and I struggled so badly with doing any of that. I just didn't understand the overall layout of a house or something like that. I actually started to come up with alternative characters, some different characters I don't even remember their purpose of anymore. I do remember these characters actually were Kit's mom and dad, who were no longer alive, I think, or something. I had a really odd story idea at the time where it's this big chasm that basically lures people in and you turn into a creature eventually, or something along those lines. And the chasm was gonna be this huge organism or something like that. I changed the story eventually to something completely different, so a lot of these are really original and fun concepts. The creatures in the story were all going to have different symbols representing all kinds of numbers for some reason. So as you can see, I have tons of little symbols with numbers next to them. I don't remember what they mean. I would have to go back to a bunch of old like scripts and idea pages that I wrote out. So that was kind of that. I, at the time, I think got into Full Metal Alchemist, and I thought the manga style was really interesting, so I did an entire page of some characters from Full Metal Alchemist. It was super fun. I really enjoy this kind of style, and I was super excited that I was actually able to draw people. As you can see, there's a ton of scrapped creature designs. I thought some of these were just straight up ugly. Ah yes, the vent artwork on the left side of the page. I don't even remember what that was about, but it was just great. And you can see I also have a huge doodle page. That was so much fun, and I actually did that multiple times throughout this sketchbook as well, as having these huge pages full of tiny little doodles, and I'm pretty sure I did a very large majority of them with a ballpoint pen. Another thing I would often do in this sketchbook was just leave completely blank pages. Drives me nuts anymore. Aw man, this is one of the pages where I was actually trying to design my first tattoo. So I was all over the board with ideas, and I eventually went with one of the bees. So yeah, you can see tons of little bees on these pages. I think I also came up with a little character called Catnip at the time. I have no idea what that was about. I do not remember that. Turning the page here, I actually have some of my brother's drawings in here, the little kitties. They're so cute. I also love how many little ideas and doodles I have in here. They're all so interesting. Some more concepts here for a full-blown art piece I was going to do. I ended up scrapping it this year in all actuality. I had tried to redo the entire sketch of it on a canvas, but I ultimately decided I didn't want to do it anymore. We also have some cover designs for some journals I actually painted on, and this really cool dragon drawing here. I actually remember really liking that. I think these are some concepts I had for Inktober at the time. I don't remember actually if those were concepts for Inktober or not. And oh my god, I love revisiting this fat cat or silly cat page. Super duper fun. And here we have the first rendition I ever made of the behemoth, one of my original species, and this weird rock creature. And oh my god, look at all of my little brother's drawings on this page. We're gonna see a lot of his artwork throughout this video. I have so many sketchbooks of his little doodles. I also really like these nature drawings I did on the left page. Here we have some concepts from some commissions I had at the time, and I was also looking to paint my ukulele but never got around to it. More little concepts and doodles and my brother's drawings on the right hand page. So fun and cute. And we have even more of his drawings on this page. I love his drawings so much. I'm so glad I get to keep these forever and ever because they're so fun and cute. I can't remember if I originally gave him prompts or not. Here we have some different drawings of hands and concepts, and I remember that I made a video on that hand right there that I pointed to that went viral on TikTok for some reason. I don't know why, it just did. I don't know why in this sketchbook I have so many different pages full of just random garbage. Drives me kind of nuts. Here I decided to do a rendition of my character Kit in a more realistic style. I thought it would be interesting to kind of do a different style for it. I also redid Tig's design. I thought I needed to redesign everything. I also decided I wanted to try to make Kit into more of a humanoid at the time. I didn't end up really liking the design that much. Oh, these little characters are so fun. They're from a little paper animation I did back in the day. More weird doodles and concepts. I don't know why I ended up doing these so much. Oh, here's another concept that is really fun. I ended up painting on my jacket. It was like a jean jacket. And I have some more concepts, I think for Inktober at the time. Yeah, it was some kind of Inktober challenge. Ooh, here's some more designs and redesigns, I guess, from my Ocean's Moss story. I was trying to redo a bunch of stuff. Some more thumbnails for a piece I did on a submechanophobia kind of piece. I did this huge mechanical shark. It was so much fun to actually paint one of my fears because I definitely have submechanophobia. And coming to this last page here, we have a bunch of bullshit. And we're all done. Super fun sketchbook that I overall love revisiting. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one.
Back in my day, when I was a young child, I used to draw in this sketchbook.
I think if I remember correctly, I got this sketchbook as a part of a sketchbook drawing kit that I think my aunt or half aunt or something gave me a very long time ago. We were in Florida, so I actually drew a bunch of pictures like the shark and the house drawing you saw at first. So definitely a huge variety of things. I don't know what age I would have been when I made a lot of these drawings either. A lot of them are really interesting and fun to look back at when it comes to my art journey. I think I actually followed a tutorial on that rose, so that's why it has a little bit of shading on it. That's kind of fun. I always really liked to just draw random garbage when I was a kid, whether it be horses or cats. You can definitely see how much I loved drawing animals, even as a kid. And this little drawing is hilarious. This is actually my childhood stuffed animal I still have. It was a Build-A-Bear dog. And then this is also a stuffed animal I used to have of a mouse that was holding cheese. Here we got SpongeBob. Let's go. There's actually a couple SpongeBob drawings I did throughout my childhood sketchbooks, which is just hilarious to me. And each one of them looks like that. So great. We have a cat and this really scary looking dog for some reason. What even is that? I don't know why. And we have this little girl. I feel like it was a game I played with my mom for some reason. I don't remember why that's there or why she looks like that. I also would do a bunch of drawings and actually journal my trips to freaking PetSmart. We used to live in a very rural town, and when we went to a bigger city, I was pumped about going to PetSmart. I loved animals when I was a kid, so I would draw it and things like that. So cute. Oh my god, I also drew my hermit crab I used to have called Pepsi there. That is such a cute little doodle. And I think at the time when we went to this bigger city, we went and saw Monster Jam, which was really fun. Had to draw that out. I also don't remember what this little dinosaur drawing was, or this duck. I don't remember those at all. And oh boy, I wrote this poem because it was Mother's Day, and yeah, love that. Don't read that. Don't pause and read that. Anyway, we're done with it. We're gonna move on to the next one here. I actually already did a sketchbook tour on this sketchbook. If you want to see this sketchbook in particular, because it's my most recent sketchbook I've completed, you can click the little iCard in the corner. So here's the front and back, and I actually finished this in 2023 in October. So moving on, we're going to kind of blaze through this sketchbook as fast as we can. Probably not too fast so you guys can actually see the drawings, but bunch of little concepts for stickers and some of my brother's drawings. And on the next page here, we have a character concept. I think it was supposed to be a little bit of a persona of me or something. We also have a little sketch my brother did of this skeleton and some Inktober concepts. More Inktober concepts at the time, and I didn't do all of Inktober. I only did it by week at the time. That sea serpent sketch, my dad actually got a tattoo of it, and I also started gluing in some different little receipts and tags and my Metro card from when I went to New York in 2022, if I'm correct. In these sketchbooks in particular, I would write down tons of notes and things like that to really keep my ideas in one place instead of having them on a computer or something like that. This is a concept for a super huge painting I'm doing of this really big dragon. It's got a huge landscape, all kinds of dragons and stuff. I have yet to actually paint it. More drawings here that I did with some friends. One night when we did a hangout, they suggested some different ideas, stuff like that. So this sketchbook is definitely very random. I have tons of concepts and designs for a variety of things. I also have doodles like these. Me and my brother did these doodles on Christmas Eve, and we went back and forth giving each other prompts and stuff. It was so much fun, and they're just hilarious to look back on. I would also do tons of studies of all kinds of things in this sketchbook, like these talon hands and these rabbits. I thought that studies at the time were really interesting. I wanted to do anything and everything for studies, from animals to artifacts and statues. So I actually took pictures of a lot of those artifacts there when I went to New York. Something that I ended up doing in this sketchbook that I don't do anymore is leaving a lot of blank space. I don't know if it's just because of how small the sketchbook was. I just left so much blank space that I could have just drawn a little doodle there or something, or a concept, but maybe I just wasn't in the right place to want to particularly do that, or maybe the sketchbook size was too small. Here's a little comic I ended up doing to test if I wanted to do a comic in my sketchbook with an actual pen. And then we're moving on to a lot of concepts here for Ren Fair stickers. So back in early 2023, I wanted to come up with tons of new Ren Fair sticker ideas because I was going to actually be a vendor at a Ren Fair. So I wanted to make sure that I had tons of fantasy stickers and acrylic charms and items for people to buy. So I went ham. A little self-promotion here. I still have tons of these stickers up in my Etsy shop. So if you want to pick some up, that would be really helpful. I'm still trying to get rid of a ton of them because I really overbought. Honestly, I have so many I don't know what to do with. I think a lot of these concepts I have in this sketchbook would be kind of interesting to revisit. I think a lot of them are really interesting for possibly art ideas or even some sticker ideas. Turning the page here, I came up with a washi tape design or two, and I actually wrote a bunch of notes on how I wanted the style of these stickers to look because I wanted it to be cohesive. Now we're moving on to more random studies and drawings and doodles here. A lot of them are just kind of off the wall. Some of them are concepts for different things. So, I don't even remember what half of these things are here. They're just so unbelievably random. Turning the page here again, I have some really fun studies I did of dogs, just the overall form, and some clothes studies. I overall still really like these clothes studies because I did the shading so well in my opinion. You can see throughout this sketchbook that I tried to do some anatomy studies, whether it be with hands or things like that. And at the time, I had just seen the new Spider-Man movie that was animated, and I did some studies of those as well. I did a study of Rico from Made in Abyss, and then I have a bunch of random doodles and left the entire page blank. This was around the time that I actually was at a pop culture con, so a lot of these are doodles and concepts from when I was just waiting around. I was very bored and I had a couple pens and some time to kill. I also still really like this kind of creature and crow concept. I think that might make a really pretty painting. And here's some more artifact studies. I didn't finish the one in the bottom right just because I didn't feel like it. It was very complex. But overall, these were fun. And here's some class ideas. I was going to teach these Halloween classes, but ended up not going through with a bunch of them. Here's a logo design I was doing for a separate account I was making for like my pets called Critter Soup. It's no longer active. This used to be my old D&D character for a one-shot called Fishy. He was a deep sea elf. It was really fun to design. Now we're getting more into last year's Inktober. I was trying to come up with a bunch of concepts for it, and I overall really didn't like what I was doing for Inktober last year. A lot of Inktober drawings were done in pencil, and I had no passion for it. So a lot of these ideas are off the wall, and I don't think I would ever really return to any of these concepts anymore. Here's some animation ideas I had. I actually ended up doing the creature ones. I think that was really fun. Oh my god, and here's my current D&D character named Wobble. She is a kobold who likes to hoard clothes. So silly. I had gotten sick at the time, so I did a bunch of random doodles. And here was a weird creature concept, I guess. And this was around Halloween. I ended up doing some kitty doodles, and I did these pumpkins in gouache or Copics. I think I did them in Copics with colored pencil. So that was super fun. And what's in here? Let's go ahead and see. Yes, a bunch of random post-it notes with random garbage. But that's that for this sketchbook. Let's move on to the next one. This tiny little sketchbook I did in high school. It's a bunch of random garbage, and it is one of the Pentalic sketchbooks. I don't know the name. Here on the front cover, I have the copyrights to what I used to call myself MK Art. I have a bunch of cute panda doodles here. I loved doodling when I was in high school. I would do a bunch of random garbage half the time. So I decided to kind of keep this sketchbook with me. I think in my backpack. I don't remember if I had it on me all of the time. I'm not really that kind of girly, I guess. I don't really keep my sketchbook on me all the time. I think that little sketchbooks are just kind of annoying. This was also around the time I graduated in 2017. Some cute little chickens, random chickens. Jeffrey the chicken, apparently. I don't remember Jeffrey the chicken. I would also take this sketchbook on trips with my family if we went somewhere on Christmas, and my brother actually ended up stealing this sketchbook at some point. I did some studies of a creek that we used to have in front of our house when I lived with my parents. So me and my brother would go down and try to scoop up minnows and things like that. So I did some doodles one day while we were down there. Definitely missed that creek. And then we're getting to the section where my brother somehow stole my sketchbook and decided to do tons of little doodles. I'm pretty sure I didn't end up caring that he did it. Also, the poopy butt, that's great. Love that in there. I didn't really care if he used this sketchbook at all. I didn't really like this sketchbook. So a lot of it just kind of ended up being dedicated to my brother, and I didn't even finish this sketchbook. Most sketchbooks I do finish. I don't like leaving sketchbooks unfinished, but because the sketchbook was so small, I just really didn't end up liking it. And well, you can obviously see my brother just kind of ended up claiming the sketchbook for himself. So I don't even remember what most of the context was for all of these sketches. Also, Batmom, that's really cute. My brother and my mom really like Batman. Oh, here's some of my own sketches. So I got this weird dog and this weird dragon wizard in the snow. I guess I must have had my brush pen along with me. I think I did these when I was somewhere with family on Christmas and I was bored. Cute SpongeBob reference there. Also, we watched Spirit and we made fun of the movie because that's what me and my brothers would end up doing, and we called Spirit Ugly Donker for some reason. It sounds so bad for some reason, but it's just supposed to be a play on the word donkey. So I ended up drawing a bunch of donkeys and horses and things like that. I remember these bird sketches here. I did them because I was so freaking bored on Christmas one year. We were just dead because there was nothing to do and we were all just waiting around for supper at the time. Oh, I remember these little sketches were for a sticker I was designing for Halloween. And I guess I did a comic concept in here for some reason. I don't know why I didn't put it in my main sketchbook. That's honestly really weird. And then there's not really anything else in this sketchbook at all. There was a little vent art piece there, but I don't particularly want to show you guys. And I had this at the end of it. My old friend gave me, so that was pretty fun. Little meme to find in this. And let's move on to the next one. Oh boy, the sketchbook that started it all. I remember this was one of the very first sketchbooks I ever had as a kid. And there's nothing on the front or back covers or in these pockets either. A lot of these were probably when I was in elementary school. I don't remember what age I would have been, but a lot of them are so fun to look back on. I would often draw lots of animals or horses or things like that for some reason at the time. So, I mean, I just love looking at how far my style has come from when I was a little kid all the way up until right now. I don't know why I have a drawing of a helicopter in here. I have question for childhood me. Why is there a helicopter? I don't know. There's some really cute little fairies here. And my apologies, a lot of these are horizontal, so I have to flip the sketchbook all crazy. So it's a little annoying, but I'm gonna do it for you guys anyway. These next little sketches were actually from my uncle. He was known to be good at drawing, and he drew these little characters for me. I don't remember what all of them are, but they're super fun. Gotta love the bowl of fruit drawing with the dried out Crayola markers. And this is actually a drawing of some bala shark fish we used to have in this small little tank. I remember watching one of them die. It was great. I just love looking back at this sketchbook to see how much I loved to draw animals. You can see it is very apparent how much I loved animals as a kid. I would draw them, I would talk about them, and a huge variety of things like that. My grandma actually did this little sketch, and she was trying to show me anatomy at the time, but I really didn't understand it, and frankly, still don't understand anatomy very well. I really wish I remembered a lot of the context for half of these drawings. I don't remember even doing all of these drawings. I do remember doing that muscly woman drawing. I tried to replicate my grandma's previous sketch, and oh my god, we've got SpongeBob again. I continuously kept trying to draw SpongeBob for some reason. And we also have an ant eating people, some really angry ants. I just want to go back and ask little childhood Mariah why she was doing half of these sketches if I was doing them off the top of my head, honestly. I'm so curious about why. I love how I did some of these in pencil and others in pen for some reason. I also remember showing this drawing to my mom at the time. I was super excited about it and thought it was really funny. Also, look at this monstrosity. It is supposed to be a monkey. I thought I knew what a monkey looked like, but apparently not. Oh my god. I have this cute little drawing of a deer here. I love how I left half of the page just completely blank, and it's all at the bottom. The next drawing is of my mom's old dog, Sandy. And I think we're actually jumping up in age here from when I was a little kid to when I started to get a little bit older. So this was around 2011. I don't know how old I would have been, but I was definitely trying to be a little bit more serious about art, and I was doing a bunch of art tutorials with like this mountain lion and this actual lion. I had gotten a book or something and tried to do the tutorial and kind of ended up being frustrated that I wasn't that great at it. Also, what is this cat? Oh my god. Also, what is that? What is that? Is that supposed to be a horse? I don't know. Jesus Christ, what is the string of this garbage here? You have this rabbit with no nose. Gotta love it. I have no idea what that is either. Merry Christmas. Why is it written like that? The start of a horse. Jesus, this was a rough patch of this sketchbook. Oh, here, something a little bit better. We have a landscape with some ducks. I never ended up finishing the drawing. I don't know if I copied this drawing from something I saw online or not. Pretty sure I did. As well as this little elk here. I don't remember actually doing that or why. And then, oh my god, do you think we should build stores, play house, make a play? That's so cute. I don't know if I was asking my mom to play or something. And oh my god, this was one of my original creature ideas. I love how I have a male and female and they're unique. Absolutely love that. What is this? Is it supposed to be a gun? I don't I don't know what that is, actually. Blank page, oodles of dude. Dude, I spelled doodle wrong. Gotta love that. Next page here, we got a half-finished doodle page. I think I was gonna originally fill the entire page out with doodles, but I never got around to it because I think I thought it was too complicated. And then we just have a little panda, a weird little guy on the next page. I don't know what he's supposed to be. And what's on the last page? Oh, it's blank and blank. And oh, I think these are plans for a vendor show I was doing a really, really long time ago. And by God, that was a mess. It's the end, and let's go ahead and move on to the next one. This was a sketchbook that I finished in 2016, if I'm correct, and the cover was completely falling apart, so I duct taped it and then drew a bunch of characters over it in silver Sharpie for some reason. Opening the first page here, we can see that things are kind of falling apart a little bit. Jeez. Starting off strong here with some cat doodles, and then we have some cloud doodles. I really liked this one artist who did tons of doodles at the time. I don't remember the artist's name at all. I remember sitting outside on our back porch and drawing some of our poultry we had. I had a goose, some chickens, and we had ducks. Also had this root cellar that was on this little hill. It always had ants on it, so that was really fun. Tried out some hair textures with a brush pen and some pencils. And then moving on here, I did my name in these bubble letters with a ballpoint pen. Turning the page here, we have this fox that has like weird wings in a very odd position, as well as the nose. I think around this time, I really wanted to experiment a lot with different fantasy animal concepts. This is also a sketchbook where I ended up copying a lot. So this octopus here was actually someone else's artwork that I ended up copying, as well as these little pusheen pieces. I just basically compiled all of this little character artwork into one big piece. I really didn't know how to draw dogs or foxes or wolves at the time and ended up with garbage like this that is very cringy. I, at the time, also tried experimenting with a different logo for my artwork, so it was going to be something along the lines of like Panda Cake Arts. Yeah, here we go, this little panda logo that's really corny. I never ended up going along with it. I just decided that, I'm not going to do it. Also, I remember drawing this weird chicken that eats eggs and thinking it was really sadistic for some reason at the time. Turning the page here, we have some different kinds of paw studies. I kind of started to do some studies. We also have a hand study in the corner that I kind of failed at. I must have gotten a pencil set at this time, so I did a swatch on this page. And by God, we're getting into my furry artwork. So yes, I was a furry in high school, and I thought furries were really cool and an interesting concept. I no longer am a furry anymore, so it's very interesting to look back at a lot of this artwork. Now we're getting into Inktober, so I was doing a bunch of ink drawings with just these fine liners. A lot of them are really random. I don't know, I got this elk here. My apologies, I of course always draw horizontally in these sketchbooks, so it makes it hard to turn the page. And this is actually a little birthday drawing I did. My birthday is on October 4th, right in the middle of Inktober. I really think this is one of my most odd sketchbooks because of the very weird concepts that were in it. I ended up doing dragons or foxes or elk or a cat or whatever, and I really had no sense of direction for what to really do or why I was doing it. I was just kind of doing everything for fun at the time and really experimenting with a bunch of styles. I remember really liking this fox. I don't remember if I took inspiration from someone else's artwork at the time, no clue. And of course, we're struggling to turn the page. This sketchbook is falling apart, so a lot of these pieces going forward were really taken and copied off of Pinterest. I remember just looking into Pinterest and really getting inspired by people's artwork and basically just ripping it off from them and claiming it as my own artwork. I no longer will do that with this sketchbook. I am just blatantly saying like, hey, I copied this. I remember this piece right here, this fox, was inspired off of somebody's artwork. I don't remember who, but yeah, that's what I did a lot of when it came to my work in high school. I was just so inspired and loved other people's artwork. And instead of actually coming up with a ton of my own artwork, I would just copy. So moving forward here, we have just more and more pen sketches. They're not very amazing. I think some of them were still for Inktober, but otherwise a lot of them were just kind of random. So let's take, for instance, this pumpkin. Very random. It was probably around Halloween when I ended up making it. And then we have this weird fox. Oh God, what is that? The face on that thing. That was my style at the time for like foxes and stuff. It's really just, ugh. I don't like it. I remember this piece specifically being copied as well. Then I have on the next page a drawing where I didn't finish it. I was going to do this really detailed wolf drawing and ended up deciding it was too complicated, so I gave up. At the time, I had also brought my sketchbook to elk camp. I used to actually be a hunter, so we were hunting for elk, and they had a camp cat named Lily. She was so cute and scraggly. Now we're getting into the alcohol marker drawings. So this little baby Mario and Yoshi drawing was my first alcohol marker drawing ever. I didn't really know what I was doing, and I thought it was really great when I finished it. At the time, I really wanted to learn how to use alcohol markers. I had been watching tons of other YouTubers use these kinds of markers, and I went ahead and bought Winsor & Newton brush markers. These were overall a cheaper alternative to Copics, so I could begin learning how to overall use them and create all kinds of weird and random drawings like these. I can be your angel, or I can be your devil. Oh my God, I do not remember making this piece at all, but I'm so glad that I was actually able to participate in this cringy trend. Continuing on here, we have a couple of drawings that are incomplete, like this Christmas kitty. And I'm pretty sure there's eventually a deer piece that's incomplete. I came up with this weird creature called the ringlet for some reason, and it looks absolutely disgusting. Oh my God. I actually really like this tiny little doodle page. I mean, my God, those were tiny doodles. And I actually started to redo it again on this page and just left the entire thing blank. Here I came up with a couple of characters I was gonna put into a comic, and I do not remember a single thing about the comic. Of course, here's some furry artwork. This is my dog self-portrait. Jesus Christ, I was definitely into that furry art style for a while. This random lion here I did in pen. No idea why. Oh my God, a Kikwi from Skyward Sword. I, at the time, was getting into Zelda, so that was really fun. This was actually a little drawing I did of my friend as a furry. I wanted to draw her for some reason, and it's kind of cringe. I wanted to create another doodle page here that resembled my previous Pusheen Cat page. Of course, we have to have the little Link cat, and my God, that shield is a complete blob of blue. Here is the deer piece I never ended up finishing. I really kind of wish I did. Here's some more copied artwork that I made of Stitch for some reason. Of course, every girl in 2016 had to be obsessed with Stitch for some reason. I was also obsessed with drawing koi at the time. Don't know why. I came up with this really cute idea of a llama ice cream cone. No clue. This artwork is definitely copied. It is everywhere and definitely not original. I made this little sketch of my two characters facing each other and just staring each other in the eyes. I don't know. Are they having a staring contest? No clue. Freaking God. So confusing. Around this time, I was also really into Studio Ghibli. I was watching the movies for the first time. I remember thinking that this drawing was absolutely amazing at the time and that I could draw people super good. But looking back on it, it's not the best. Also, what is up with me drawing dogs and foxes in weird colors? I had a red dog in a previous sketchbook and now we got a blue one. And of course, I had to be obsessed with steampunk at the time, so we're gonna put a hamster in a steampunk outfit. Why not? Oh my god, we have another Angel and Devil piece here with the ice and fire. I love that I was in that phase for some reason. I just think it is absolutely hilarious half of the time. So moving on here to the next page, we have a skunk that I drew. I actually have redrawn that skunk piece 3 times just for a redraw challenge. Oh my god, I absolutely remember hating this elk after my brother pointed out that it had an upside down frowny face instead of it being a nose. I just could not get over how awesome it is that the hands are completely backwards on this flute-playing fox. Next we have this little panda that is a Chinese food takeout box. We have this little pig that is in a sweatshirt that has a Starbucks drink, of course. I remember actually really liking this bear piece that I actually put it on a shirt. I think I still have that shirt in my closet buried in a tote. Honestly, I cannot get over how obsessed I was with foxes at the time. I still really like foxes. I think they're so fun to draw. I have no idea if this giraffe artwork is stolen or if it is original. I also really like the anatomy on this raccoon fox guy. I also had the idea to make a penguin into a cactus. I don't know if I'm vibing with that idea anymore. I remember really disliking this lion I drew. I didn't like it at all. And of course, I have the gears, the clock, and deer. I should have switched it out for a lion. That would have been hilarious. And we are completely done with this sketchbook. It's falling apart a bit, but that's all right. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. This sketchbook was in my complete nerdy era. And it is another Crescent render sketchbook, just the hardcover version. I actually completed this sketchbook within 1 year in 2018. On the first page here, we have Bee and Puppy Cat with Copic markers. I'm still obsessed with them. And this is my favorite page layout from this entire sketchbook. I still really like it. I have Bee and Puppy Cat on one page and Breath of the Wild Zelda on the other page. At the time, I was doing a monthly sketchbook challenge. I'm not sure if it was my 365-day sketchbook challenge at the time, but it was Western themed. A lot of these random pen sketches were for that challenge. I really wish that I had written down what the challenge was actually for because now I can't remember and I don't know if I ever ended up posting it. These sketches on the right-hand page were actually redraws of some drawings I did a long time ago. I don't know if they were in a sketchbook or not. I really like this plant layout. It is so much fun. I also did this really cute brownie in a brush pen. That was also really fun. Oh, I also really like this horse. It has insane hair. That was super fun to draw at the time. I love how I end up having some shitpost artwork in here. Eyes the dire wolf, fear me, wrath. I have no idea what I'm talking about there, but I think it's kind of funny. I, of course, was still doing tons of concept sketches and Copic marker drawings. I was just all over the place with things at the time. Also, we have more of my brother's drawings, and I was kind of trying to peel up the washi tape to see what was under it, but it was kind of glued down, so I decided to just end up leaving it. Also love that I have these weird crows and dabbing Batman on the other page. These were some concept sketches for these little like vegetable creatures I was eventually going to do. I don't think I ever made it into an actual concept. As you can see, like I had a whole mushroom creature and it was going to be this little story and stuff, but I never did anything with it. Then moving on here, we have some mechanical creatures. I always thought that mechanical animals were really interesting. And then we have some more Copic marker drawings along with some poop. More concept sketches for actual pieces I did. I think one of these was for Father's Day, and the other one was this like underwater fox that had a skirt and clothes. Also, I love this I'm a freaking burrito drawing. I just think it's really funny. And around this time, I was actually starting to get into a different art style or phase where I was drawing a lot of like cutesy, like pastel artwork. So a lot of it had stars, lots of pastel colors, really cutesy vibes. I really am not sure what I was trying to go for at this time, so it's really odd where my mentality was going. I actually really admire my cutesy kind of pastel aesthetic style at the time. I think it's really interesting to look back on, but I don't think I would ever make artwork like this again in the future. It's just not my style anymore. So here we have some more studies and concepts for larger pieces. I, for some reason in this sketchbook, wouldn't thumbnail. I would just draw out an entire piece and then like put it onto watercolor paper. I was still a little bit into the furry kind of artwork and making anthro characters. I'm not sure if I left the furry art scene at this time or not. I don't exactly remember, but I was definitely into drawing anthropomorphic animals. So moving on to the next page here, we have some more concepts. I actually kind of remember some of these concepts. It was going to be this really fantastical piece, but I never got around to it. Around this time, I was also doing artwork that was very positive, like message, like this fox here that said, you know, oh, you're beautiful, that kind of thing. Not sure why. Oh man, this little comic here, I think at the time I had quit doing YouTube for some reason, and I'm not really sure why. And I ended up doing this comic to answer a question for some reason. I really wonder where I was with my YouTube channel at the time. I think I had made a name change. I made a new channel for some reason. I think I deleted an old one and I really regretted it. So it was really all over the place for my YouTube channel at the time. So very, very odd time. Here we have some more concepts for full watercolor pieces I was gonna do. At the time, I was heavily into watercolor pieces instead of Copic markers. I would still draw things with Copic markers, but overall, I was into watercolors. So moving on here, I remember doing these cat studies. My cats were sleeping and I did a bunch of studies of them, and I actually really like looking back on them because I no longer live with some of those cats. They're actually at my parents' place. Oh my god, I remember hating that sunflower dog cat thing. It just is not an animal. It looks really weird. I think we're also back onto Inktober, if I'm correct. I think a lot of these Copic marker drawings were made specifically for Inktober. I don't exactly remember because they don't have the prompts under them. Here's some sticker ideas. I made a huge variety of these in watercolors and then ended up scanning them and making them into stickers. Yeah, here's some more random ideas. Random dog sketch with a bone, apparently. Not sure why. Oh, this must have been when I went outside and I did a big study of some things that were in the garden, like our chickens, some Swiss chard, tomato, that kind of thing. It was really fun. I really enjoyed doing those studies outside. Then here I have some ink drawings of animals and outfits. So it was a coloring book that I made way back in the day, and just kind of the idea of having a bunch of random animals in a variety of outfits. I actually have way more drawings than what's in this sketchbook. I also was interested in plushie making at the time, so I had some plushie concepts as well. Also, I do not understand what this "is that too loud for you, Javin" thing. I didn't write that. I'm pretty sure that was my brother who wrote that, and I don't remember what the heck that was about. And here's some more Inktober drawings. I don't exactly remember what year this was. I can't see the date here in my video. And this is the last one, and we're all done. So overall, a really interesting sketchbook and time for my artwork. Let's move on to the next one. Coming in is this sketchbook I almost forgot about. It's got a bunch of little Totoro stickers on it, and it is falling apart. That's why it has the tape on there. On the front cover, we have this little anime girl, and I do not remember when I actually started this sketchbook at all. Here we have the comic Purple Chicken. It was supposed to be this positive comic about this little purple chicken. I never really went anywhere with it though. This was a sketchbook where I did a ton of pen drawings and things like that. I also had a bunch of colored lead and did a bunch of studies here. I was also experimenting with a new avatar to kind of make a persona of myself. I didn't really like any of those at all. This sketchbook is such an anomaly because I don't really remember it very well. It was a sketchbook that was really kind of a blip in my sketchbook journey, I guess. I remember pulling this sketchbook out and actually going through it and just not remembering a very large part of this sketchbook at all. I overall have a ton of random concepts and notes in this sketchbook. I'm not exactly sure when this sketchbook came around, if it was in 2016 or 2017. Here we actually have a little commission I did at the time. I remember getting that commission at a vendor show. Some random doodles here. Turn in the page. Let's see what we got. Oh my goodness, those kinds of expression grids. I remember doing that in particular, and those corgis were actually part of a really horrible commission I ended up doing. This little T-Rex here was actually a wind-up toy I used to have, and a bunch of these character drawings was actually copied from Draw with Jazz's character book. I don't exactly remember what it was called, but I wanted to learn more about anatomy at the time. And of course, my little brother's drawings are in this sketchbook, of course. Why wouldn't they be? And a good example of that is this crazy killer snowman and Batmobile. I have no idea the context of that at all. Oh my god, I also remember when I wanted him to draw Totoro at the time. No one in my family knew what Studio Ghibli was, so I just kind of wanted him to draw Totoro for the fun of it. Then on this next page, I start getting more into studies, so studying a lion and studying wings, kind of just random garbage. Same with these things, random landscape and rock studies, wolf studies. It's really good that I actually did a bunch of studies because I think it really helped me to develop over time as an artist. Studies are so important as an artist, and I think that even as a young artist, you should be doing studies of a variety of things, like these ones. I did studies of my cats at the time. I did studies of their paws. So important to being able to understand how things are drawn, how they look, that kind of thing. Super, super important. These medieval sketches, I think, were from another challenge I ended up doing. I don't remember what it exactly was for. Then we have some more studies here of cats and feet for some reason. Then moving on here, we have more of those challenges, and we have a rabbit with chocolate. Why? Some more sketches from this weird corgi commission I did, and some swords. So we are getting into a lot of that medieval artwork. And I remember at the time thinking that these rendered pencil pieces were absolutely amazing. I loved them, and I think at the time I just didn't really understand how to apply pencil that great. So it was kind of alright. More comic concepts here. I never went through with doing this weird fish comic. I can't even read it. I didn't read it when I was flipping through this. Ooh, dragon studies. I got those references, I'm pretty sure, off of Pinterest, if I'm correct, or DeviantArt. I wanted to study how to draw dragons better, which was super important, of course. Drawn all kinds of things like the hair, the scales, the spikes, all kinds of things like that. And we have some fish studies. And I remember that little rabbit thing being a sculpted kneaded eraser. So that was pretty fun. More fish studies, which is really funny. I did fish studies recently last year, actually. I just can't get over how random this sketchbook is. 1 second I have, studies. Another second I have a random forest. I have a random character. All kinds of things. It just flip-flops so much, and I think it's really funny. Ooh boy, I remember really disliking that castle drawing. I really liked studying weapons around this time as well. Oh boy, this next page here, this like tree and fence and stuff was actually in our kind of backyard. I remember sitting in the snow and doing this study and actually writing out this little story thing. Same with that grass that was kind of like dried and poking through the snow. I just thought it was really interesting and peaceful. Oh, here we go. So this was actually a logo concept for my old name called Sunfox Illustrations. It was a blip of a name. I didn't keep it for very long. Still more of these medieval drawings for this challenge. Still really wish I had some context for it. More weird, cartoony human character ideas. I don't really remember why I drew them. It's very odd. Then, of course, we have more studies of wings. I really wanted to nail wings at the time, and I remember being really proud of these wings. I thought they were really awesome. Now we get into more of those pen drawings. So I had seen other artists at the time draw with ballpoint pens, and I thought it was really cool because they could achieve so much really nice detail, and I just thought it was super cool. So now we just have a bunch of randomness going on, a lot of random sketches and characters. I guess we do have some eye studies here. All right, moving on to the next page here. We've got my characters that I was gonna do another comic for, Pebble and Twig. I don't remember the context of this story either. I don't know if I even have it written down anywhere. I also came up with this original character called RoboCat. Now I'm drawing with a blue ballpoint pen. Not sure why I switched colors or anything like that, but here I am. Also, what is up with this weird, scared farmer here? What is he doing? Oh my lord, another shitpost page where I was drawing a dog barking and our very big cat, apparently. You can see why I don't really remember this sketchbook. It is just so much random garbage in here. Like, Jesus Christ. Dinosaur studies. I wonder if I did these from a book I had when I was a kid. I remember that. Also, this little owl here is just so stupid but funny. This was actually, these sketches here with like Catbug and these weird cats here with bread and steak on their heads was from a challenge I did when I had first kind of started my YouTube channel, where I was challenging myself to stay up for 24 hours and do artwork. So that was an extremely difficult challenge, and I was just drawing bullshit the entire time to say that I was keeping up with the challenge. I don't know if I really did it. It was really difficult, and I remember being unreasonably tired at the time. So yeah, by the end of the night, I ended up just drawing garbage. So that was kind of fun. And then we're getting to the end of this sketchbook where I started to glue in a bunch of random sketches I had made on other pages, mainly because I was just over this sketchbook at the time. I didn't like the paper and I didn't like that it was falling apart. So glue some stuff in and call it good was where I was really at. I also love how all of these have names on the pages for some reason. They like Phoenix, yeah, woo. Oh my god, Jiro the Duet, that was another story I had come up with, and it was this very odd story. Don't exactly remember the context of that. Steampunk and dragons. Jeez, I can't get over this. I also remember the tape that I used for this stuff was this very odd and thick, like electrical tape. Why did I use that? Don't know. Maybe I just needed to use it up, you know, because it was in my drawer and it was annoying me. Who knows? And the end. That was quite the sketchbook. Very, very random. I don't remember a lot of it, but that was that. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. I'm pretty sure that this sketchbook was also part of some kind of kit that included pencils, sharpeners, and erasers. So this was one that I did when I was quite young as well. Alright, first thing we've got is this promising cat. And then a good try at a rose. Gotta love how I added that note in there. I remember this bamboo thing being from some kind of tutorial at the time. Tried to do this doodle heart, apparently. Lines. Wow, that's really artistic. Damn. Oh my god. Also, this was probably in middle school or something when I came up with these characters called Kita and Komashi. It was another huge story I was gonna make. Don't exactly remember why or what the story was about. And to be honest, that's the little sketch pad. There's really not a lot of paper in this thing, and I didn't really finish it or draw a bunch in it at all. So that was that. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Snap cut here to this Daler Rooney sketchbook. This entire sketchbook's purpose at the time was to basically be a dumping grounds for ideas. I kept it separate from my main sketchbook so I could just make a complete mess. So a lot of this is just nondescript garbage. I'm not exactly sure what all of it was. I would often rip pages out of the sketchbook so I could use it as like tracing paper. I would take graphite paper and actually trace like my sketches onto maybe a canvas or watercolor paper. So that's why there's not a lot of pages in this sketchbook anymore. So yeah, I mean, I have sketches like this that were for a Draw This in Your Style challenge, just completely random there. I have unfinished things like this Jax the Cat expression sheet. I have a random football. Why is there a football? I don't even like football. That's so random. Lots and lots of blank pages in this sketchbook as well. There's some house design. House design for what? Must have been for some kind of comic. No clue. Molly's, does that say Molly's House? I can't read that, but must have been another weird random comic or story I was coming up with that never got finished. And there's a little sketch of my goose I used to have called Happy. More concept sketches for some stuff you maybe saw earlier with that cactus deer. Oh, this was also a digital piece that I created with combining different kinds of animals. I don't think that YouTube video exists anymore. I really wish it did. I don't even know if I have that art piece anymore. Oh my god, what is this atrocity? A fidget spinner creature? That is disgusting. Alright, more random garbage again. I actually kind of like these sketchbooks because it gave me the complete freedom to just throw down any idea I wanted. Here's some more comic and story ideas. I think I was gonna do a comic called like Happy the Goose or something. It was gonna be maybe like a children's book, but I kind of threw that idea away because I really don't like the idea of doing children's books. We got crazy pirate cyborg fox thing. No clue. More blank pages with just tiny little sketches on them. Gotta love it. Another concept for a story and comic I was gonna do called like, I don't know, it was like The Mystery of Cheese or something. It was really weird. Also, this old guy. What is that? We've got some house concepts. There was gonna be like this cheese cellar and all these little creatures gonna live among the cheese or something. It was really weird. I remember coming up with that story. It was just so freaking odd. Oh my god, here's some concepts for my old Lionymphia Arts logo. That was definitely a handful of a name, so that did not stick around for that long. Then I've got some colored pencil swatches. I bought this huge like Dick Blick tin of colored pencils. Yeah, it was a big tin. So yeah, you can actually see that some of these concepts were from one of my sketchbooks where I did a bunch of like Copic art. So that was overall pretty cool. We've got Haku again. Oh my lord. I remember doing that piece of Nick from Zootopia as like a feral fox or whatever. More random concepts of things I'm not really sure what they are supposed to be. Very, very random. Some more concept sketches from that Copic marker sketchbook, which I find really interesting because if I'm gonna do a piece like that in my sketchbook, let's say I'm gonna do Copic markers or a fully completed piece, I just put it in my sketchbook anymore. I don't separate things because frankly, I just find it so inconvenient. And then you have different sketchbooks thrown everywhere and it just starts piling up and cluttering everything. So turning the page here, you can see I have these little dragons that are in bottles with plants. That was another book that I made called like Dragons in Bottles or Creatures in Bottles or something. It was supposed to be this coloring book where all of these little animals, mythical creatures are in bottles. I just thought it was a really interesting concept. So here we go. This was a commission I did for somebody. It was like an adoptable, I think they got, and they wanted me to just redraw it. And it was probably one of the best commissions I had ever gotten. More random ideas. I think this bear one was for Father's Day again. If I remember correctly, I made it into this big, huge Copic marker piece at the time. So yeah, moving on again. I thought this sketchbook was a little bit shorter, but we just keep going with things. So yeah. Oh, I guess we got a ripped page here. We have some notes. I don't exactly remember what those are from or for. They might have been for a comic idea or something. I don't remember if these sketches were for commissions. I'm pretty sure the corgi ones were. But this like mountain lion that's on a tree, I remember being challenged to do it or something. I don't know if it was a challenge or not. I cannot remember. I would cut out things a lot in this sketchbook for some reason. I don't exactly remember why. Oh my god, this little character on the right is my character called Jiro. He was like this character I was gonna make for a comic. What an odd pose there. I remember that reference and using that reference, and it was really difficult. So now we come to the end of this very odd sketchbook. I think that having messy sketchbooks isn't the best, but that's alright. Let's move on to the next one. I actually have a full sketchbook tour of this one, and if you want to see more of it, you can click the iCard. So this sketchbook was completed from 2020 to 2022. 2 years of this sketchbook. I actually got this sketchbook from the Has-Been Hotel merch store when the pilot was the only thing that was up. So I liked it at the time and decided to buy it. And by God, this paper in this sketchbook is literally just like printer paper. It was not suited for heavy sketchbook use. This sketchbook has tons of different concepts from my behemoth piece. I actually completed that behemoth piece right there just recently. Literally this week, I completed it finally. But overall, I have tons of different sketches and just notes and drawings and all kinds of things in this sketchbook. So as of recently, I think a lot of my sketchbooks are actually for concepts a lot of the time. I definitely did not do tons and tons of drawing in these sketchbooks. So take for instance this page, it was for concepts for a sticker or acrylic charms. A lot of the times I would doodle in these different things, write down notes, that kind of thing. So it ends up, for me personally, feeling like a lot of these sketchbooks are very random and not connected in any way. But I think at the end of the day, it's okay because it allows for complete freedom, and I feel like that's how sketchbooks are really supposed to be used. Something that I would eventually start picking up, and now I do all of the time, is writing down tons of notes next to sketches or just plain old writing in my sketchbooks. It allowed me to basically go back to sketches and understand what I was trying to convey, or it helped me to plan out different ideas. These sketches here were for a challenge that I dropped really quickly. Also, we got the furry artwork, of course, here. Couldn't have dropped that recently at all. Then moving on here, we have some sticker ideas. I did make that fat Link cat and chocobo into an actual sticker. I was wanting to do a Nana cheese sticker, but ended up dropping it because I thought she was too complicated to draw. Some hand studies. I really wanted to try to nail hands at the time and to really get to understand how they were structurally drawn. So even going as far as drawing out the skeleton for it. On the next page, I do have some more hand studies, and I also have a concept for a full watercolor piece. I really feel like over time, I have gotten better at drawing out my concepts. So for instance, these concepts here were full art pieces that were done in watercolor, and I understand where things are supposed to go and whatnot instead of just doing random sketches like in previous sketchbooks. These concepts here were for an old logo I made where I had this skull kitty that had mushrooms all over it and moss. It ended up being way too much of a complicated logo, so I eventually changed it to the logo I have now. Some more logo concepts here, and I actually decided to start live streaming at the time, so I redid all of my Twitch, like starting pages and animations and all kinds of different things at the time. These here are some sticker ideas from the games like Journey and Abzu and things like that. Those were so much fun to do. I was actually trying to redraw some old artwork here. You might recognize it from earlier. Yeah, like this piece, this flying fox here. I actually redid the entire sketch. Now on these pages, I'm not gonna sit and look at them for very long. They're just my washi tapes I ended up buying, so they're just the swatches from them. I wanted to see what they all looked like on paper. Nothing too exciting unless you're really into stationery. Here's a bunch of random doodles, and the reason I have these post-it notes was actually for a class I was teaching on sketchbooks, so I wanted to have different pages flagged so I could give examples. Random wolf character I came up with called Vincent, apparently. Don't really remember. It was just kind of random. Some studies, as well as the Grim Reaper. Wow, I don't remember why I did that. Then we're starting to get into the sticker pages. So I used to have this shelf that I had tons of stickers on, and I was getting rid of the shelf, but I still wanted a lot of the stickers and I wanted somewhere to put them. So I ended up putting them in my sketchbook. I also put some random sketches in here as well, just things that I didn't know what to do with, and I started to get the idea that putting in things like receipts or stickers or notes was a really interesting thing to do to your sketchbook. I then started to glue in old receipts that I had kept, and I started to draw over them. As you can see, I drew some really weird shit around this time, like my butt dudes. I just overall thought it was really funny. I also did ink drawings with brush pens like this over receipts. I thought it was just such an interesting concept and actually texture for your background. I don't really do it anymore. I don't have any receipts to really collect, and I think it's just kind of something that was interesting for mainly this sketchbook in particular. A lot of these sketches over the receipts were really random because I didn't have any ideas for them, so I just kind of bullshitted it. Another drawing from my brother in here as well. So, like, yeah, these couple of pieces here, I just didn't know what to do over the receipts and notes, so a lot of them are just kind of garbagey. These bees here are actually my first tattoo design, and I finally put them in somewhere. These sketches here are just so kind of garbagey. I don't remember why I ended up making them. This angel eye thing was my brother's drawing. He like took one of my brush pens and just scribbled. A lot of these pens would have ended up bleeding through the paper if I didn't actually put down any of these notes or receipts. I did a bunch of these doodles on the airplane ride over to Las Vegas. That was fun. So I have a bunch of like my cash out tickets here. I also got a bunch of Zoltar fortunes when I went to Vegas, as well as going to Candy Town sometimes and getting them. So I decided to tape them in there. You can see my Strat ticket right there. We went to the Stratosphere, so that was also fun. Now we're getting into the Inktober sketches. So I'm pretty sure these were from 2021 or 2022. I'm not exactly sure. I remember not really enjoying that year of Inktober. It was kind of a bit of a stressful situation with it. Here is the 365-day sketchbook challenge ideas, and I was going to do a calendar that year. So that was fun. Here's some clothing studies. I love studying clothes. I think it's super interesting. Ooh, and another concept for a piece I did. And my logo that I have right now. I was thinking of all kinds of really fun logo ideas, and I landed on this. You can see all kinds of different renditions I did of my overall banner, so that was fun. More random concepts and sketches and doodles, of course. And oh god, we have these guys, inappropriate little things that my friend asked me to draw, so that's always fun. These are some sticker designs I did for an art studio I used to work at. So I was doing a bunch of random concepts for that because I wasn't sure what I wanted to exactly do, and they didn't have a direction for me either. Here's some studies I did of a character from Witch Hat Atelier. I don't remember the character's name actually, but I remember loving doing that study because the clothes are absolutely amazing in that manga. I also did a horse study at the time. Amazing. Here's some more ideas I had for a comic. I thought that doing like a bestiary or something would be so interesting with my original creatures. Oh boy, and we have more sticker ideas. So those were really fun. I still have some of these sticker designs around actually. So also boob birds, that's funny. This is a sketch of one of my very old D&D characters that I no longer play. Some really fun random doodles, and I'm not sure if I did these doodles at a vendor show or something. I am not sure actually. So the last couple of pages aren't very amazing. They're just full of random notes and things I had for products and whatnot, so nothing too exciting to really go over here. I should go back to this sketchbook and actually look at some of my ideas I had for products because I'm kind of running out, so that might be a really fantastic idea. As you can see, I have the most creative award there. I did an art competition for an art walk one time. I do not remember what those were supposed to be here at all. These little concepts were for magnets I actually painted on. They were like little canvas magnets. They were super cute. And these ones were mini watercolors, which I still have. They're up in my Etsy shop if you want to go get one. These were wood burnings I ended up doing. I don't think I did that wolf down there, if I'm correct. Or that little dragon and monster idea. Turning the page here, I was actually at a pop culture con and ended up getting really bored and just doodling. I had nothing to do a couple of days. These really weird sketches here were when I was intoxicated one time, I'm pretty sure. So yeah. And on the last page, we have a cat sketch and some random vent art that you guys aren't gonna see. So that's that sketchbook, and let's move on to the next one. Oh boy, we have the mustache. The mustache Strathmore drawing sketch pad. So this sketchbook was in high school, again in 2016. I remember doing this drawing when I was at my after school program job, in high school, and the kids were amazed with the artwork I was doing, as well as this one that now looking back on it is kind of garbagey. Oh god, we're getting into some of my furry artwork. So this is my fursona at the time called Fly. So she was an angel dragon and whatnot, so yeah. Then I wanted to begin doing a lot of like fursona badges, you know, those really big badges that furries make. And this was actually somebody's character, Banana Kiwi. I did like a free furry badge kind of thing. I just wanted to practice. I also have a bunch of random pen animal drawings like this penguin, and then on the next page I have this fox or wolf, of course. Why wouldn't I? I drew so many foxes back then. This pig was an inside joke between me and my friends, but I don't even remember what it's about. I just know that we had a pig called Telemarketer. Random horse I was gonna make into this fursona badge, but I never got around to finishing it. And we have another fursona thing called Ronald, apparently. And on this last page here, we have this angry wolf that I remember disliking a lot. And I'm pretty sure that's it. Oh no, wait, we have this pirate wolf that I also remember really disliking. And that's it. So nothing too special in this sketch pad. So let's move on to the next one. Oh boy, we have the Canson XL Mixed Media Sketchbook. Of course, why wouldn't we? This sketchbook is basically filled with a bunch of random nonsense. I remember ripping out a lot of pages of this sketchbook, so not a lot in here to go through. But I ended up practicing my signature 5,000 times over for some reason. Also some ideas I had. I remember in high school I was gonna paint this clock piece with that poem on it. I never got around to it because I thought it was way too complicated. Here I am again with pandas. I had a thing for pandas in high school. I thought they were really awesome. Apparently I was gonna do this thing called Mariah's Arc. I'm not sure if that was gonna be like a YouTube art channel or something. No clue. And again with the pandas. I love pandas, so we're gonna draw pandas again. Oh my god, I remember drawing this Firefox at a speech and drama meet when we were in between rounds. And yes, I was a theater kid. Oh boy, the flyaway tattoo idea. I don't know if my intention was to have it be a tattoo, but yeah, probably got it off of Pinterest somewhere. I'm pretty sure these couple of pen drawings were for the local county fair we were having. I was just trying to bullshit artwork and put it in the fair at the time, and I just didn't like those pieces. And we also now have Melvin the snail for some reason. Oh boy, this was around the time I was really getting into Zelda, so we have this really grody looking Link with a floating ocarina for some unknown reason. I don't know why it's like that. Hot air balloon sketch. I was pretty sure I was gonna make that into a full art piece, but never finished it. Weird random eye that I never ended up finishing the other eye to make a pair. Pencil sketch here of a nice beach, and I don't know if I copied that from something. We got another pencil piece of these. What is up with that cloud? Why is it like that? The other clouds are just blobs, and then we just have this detailed one. Oh man, we have another octopus piece that I copied from somebody. I don't know who the original artist is, but I remember really liking these octopus pieces for some reason because I could render them really well. And that's about it with this sketchbook. Not much to go over. So let's move on to the next one. All right, we're moving on to my homemade sketchbook. So I made this sketchbook out of craft paper and 2 pieces of cardboard and a couple of key rings. I don't know when I finished or started this sketchbook. I don't have a date on it, but I'd imagine it was in high school or after high school a little bit. I did a lot of these drawings in colored pencil because colored pencil showed up the best on craft paper. I actually really like a lot of these sketches because I outlined them in white gel pen. So it really made a lot of these sketches pop. Also, there's Rousey from Deltarune. Ooh, another creature and environment concept from a story I was reading and was eventually going to turn into some kind of comic, but I, of course, dropped it. Every single comic idea, I swear, I've just dropped it. Ooh, I bet I made this sketchbook around 2018, now that I see that concept for the jellyfish and like diver piece. I was also into Rain World at the time. I got pretty far into Rain World and then just couldn't get past the dark section, which was about impossible. I don't exactly remember a lot of this sketchbook. It was kind of a transition into where I was doing lots of fantasy pieces and animal pieces and things like that. I don't know why I don't remember it as well. Maybe it's because I blazed through it or something. No idea. I do really appreciate that in this sketchbook I have a variety of colors. Definitely super interesting when it comes to looking through the sketchbook because it gives everything so much more of a pop of color than just plain pen or pencil. Oh, here's that piece I redrew. I did this like pipe wolf fox piece and I actually redrew it, as well as this griffin piece. I remember really enjoying redrawing it, and I should redraw it again sometime. That'd be really interesting. Some more concepts here from things I don't exactly remember or really know what they're from. And then moving on here, we have a page full of random doodles. I absolutely love some of these stupid doodles. They are just everything. Moving on here, I have these pages of really weird sketches and doodles. And I remember watching this video where this guy told me to basically sit down and draw what your mind wants to and just do mindless scribbling and doodling. And it was a really good exercise and warm-up to do before actually drawing. I never kept up with those warm-ups at all. I completely forgot about them after doing those couple of pages. Looks like I've got some pen doodles mixed in here, of course. For some reason, every sketchbook I have random pen doodles mixed in. Why? I don't know. Oh man, I really should have just stuck with colored pencil here. I'm not exactly sure why I went to a ballpoint pen again, but whatever. More concepts. What in the world is that piece from? I feel like I made that wolf piece, but then again, I don't. I don't know. That is really odd. I remember testing out a new brush pen that was like super thin on this paper, and I still have that brush pen, I think. Oh, I remember this little piece. I did it digitally, and I actually really like the sketch more than what I did digitally. I actually really like this little cat drawing I did here in colored pencil, and it makes me want to go back and buy a sketchbook that is actually filled with craft paper. I have this really cute creature concept here that I'm pretty sure I put into a full watercolor piece. Eye studies. You'll see that I actually do some anatomy studies of the face in this sketchbook. I actually started to do some gesture drawings and timed drawings of animals at the time to do some warm-ups. Moving on here, I have some sketches for a couple watercolor pieces that I actually still have. I'm pretty sure they're up in my Etsy shop if you want to snatch them up. Also, do we have Michael Jackson on that page? What the world was that? Aw, look at this cute little kitty. It's so short and cute. I don't remember what it was for, if it was a character I was making for a comic or something. Ooh, I remember really disliking those wolf sketches. I wanted to tear it out at one point. Oh man, cool nose studies here. I absolutely love this page still. I think these noses are really well done and really well rendered. I absolutely love them so much. And I actually kind of forgot how to draw noses. I wonder if I was using a colored lead mechanical pencil at this time, or if I was actually using a colored pencil. I'm very curious. Ooh, I have a logo design actually here that I completely trashed because I hated the final piece that I did for it. Also, bread is good for the soul, apparently. I don't remember making that. And the last page here is just some animal gesture drawings that were timed. And that is that. Super fun sketchbook, and makes me want to get more craft paper. Let's move on to the next one. This is our last sketchbook, and it is complete garbage. This is another one of those really trashy sketchbooks that I would rip pages out of. So yeah, this was in high school at some point. I am blurring out this front cover page because it has my friends' signatures on it and names, and I don't know if they want their names in this video or not, so I'm gonna just blur it out. I did some Mario doodles in pen here. Oh, this was a little pencil drawing I tried to do of my cat Waffle. Didn't really turn out the way I wanted it to. I was testing my writing for some reason, and we got that wonderful flyaway feather tattoo design again. Also, taco ship. Got an erased drawing here. I'm not sure what it was supposed to be. We have this book pencil drawing that is extremely boring. It was done in 2016. Then I have blank page. Woohoo! I love those. And let's see what's on the next page. Oh, it's blank. Dang. Oh, we of course have pandas again. The panda obsession in high school was real. And on the next page here, we have Toothless, kind of looking a little rough around the edges, and it was done in 2014, so that's really interesting. I don't know why the dates are all mixed up. I have the beginnings of some kind of horse I never finished, and another horse drawing I never finished, and another horse drawing that I never finished. Do we got another horse drawing on the next page? No, we got a ship that I never finished. That might have been a concept actually for a full acrylic piece I ended up doing, so that might be why it's not finished. I really like drawing fish around this time, so we have some goldfish here, and let's see, maybe this was the start of a jellyfish? I'm not really sure. Of course, we got the clock and the gears. Why wouldn't we? I loved steampunk at the time. Oh man, in high school, I would draw these roses all the time. I thought I was so skilled to be able to just draw a rose like that. My God. And I lied. I thought this was the last sketchbook, but we actually got another one. Oh my God. The sketchbooks never end. This sketchbook is another Canson XL Mixed Media sketchbook. It doesn't really have that much in it. I tore a ton of the pages out, so let's see what this has to offer. I have a note here from a YouTuber I used to watch. I do not remember who it actually is. I don't know. I have a couple watercolor pieces in here. I don't remember if these pieces were actually supposed to be connected to each other or not. Kind of seems like it was. I have this really fun fox astronaut with the big stars. The chunky stars are so aesthetic and nostalgic for me. I just love it. We got this cute dragon on a mushroom here. I wonder if that was for Inktober. Got another fox here. The never-ending foxes, I swear. All right, what's on the next page here? If I can turn the page. Oh, we got another fox, of course, reading a book, a little witch fox. That's actually really cute. We have this unicorn here that was for my animals and outfits coloring book I had. I also think that this cat here taking a Polaroid picture was for Inktober at some point. More animals and outfits. We've got this hipster squirrel. Oh my God, he's looking so amazing. And that is it. This sketchbook was really, really short. I tore out so many pages. And that is it. Oh my God, guys. That is all of the sketchbooks. By God, was that a lot. Honestly, a huge round of applause to you guys if you made it through this entire video. I hope you guys enjoyed looking at all of my sketchbooks and the journey of my artwork. Make sure to give this video a like if you liked it, because by God, this video took me forever. Make sure to comment down below if you actually made it to the end, and make sure to subscribe for more fun art videos like this one. Make sure to also visit my Etsy shop. I have a lot of the original art that you may have seen in concept sketches in these sketchbooks. I have tons of sticker designs that are currently up and available over there. Link is down in the bio. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Bye-bye! I've been recording for 2 hours, 3 hours. I don't know how long it's been, and my voice is just done for.